you, Mr Chair, and can I say it's a pleasure for me to be able to take a call on the Labour portfolio. Feedback from the recently announced employment reforms, if you listen to the Labour Party, you would have thought that it was the end of the world and that the sky was falling in. But actually the feedback that we're receiving has been incredibly positive. And if you look at the editorials and if you actually sieve out the feedback from the Labour friends, it's all been positive. It's been described as moderate, thoughtful, pragmatic, not radical at all. And I'd have to say, Mr Speaker, we are confident that these reforms strike that right balance, because actually we are working hard. We're working hard to turn the country around, to turn the economy around after the debris that was left to us by the Labour government. We're working hard to turn the economy around, and we're working hard to actually try and get people into jobs. And one of the reforms that we did was, of course, the 90-day trial, which at the time the sky was going to fall in. It came into effect in March 2009, and the sky was falling in. Well, actually, I tell those members, the sky hasn't fallen in. Remember back in those days, remember back in those days, they were going to name and shame all these bad employers who were going to exploit the employees. And what has happened? Absolute silence. Not one has been named and shamed. And even, Mr Chair, even at Select Committee, at estimates, I was at pains to say that I am conscious of the need to avoid exploitation of workers. And that's why we crafted the legislation at the time, to avoid that exploitation and actually to provide practical protections for workers. And if you look, Mr Chair, the evaluation of the trial period was pretty positive, wasn't it? 57, it was the department's valuation. 57% had hired staff since March 2009. I think that's pretty good, actually, Mr Chair. 74% of employees employed on a trial period continued to be employed after the trial period. That's 74%. Now, we say that's three out of four. That's great. Do you know what they say? They say, but 1 in 4 don't have a job. Do you know why some of those do the members know why some of those 1 in 4 don't have a job? One of the reasons was the employer didn't like the job, so left. Another reason was that the employee didn't find the job suitable. Another of the reasons was that the employee's family did not want the employee to be employed. And actually, 3 out of 4 continue to be employed. And I actually think that's good for the economy and good for the employment market. And not only that, Mr Chair, of those employed, 40% of employers said that they wouldn't have employed that person if it hadn't been for a trial period. 40%. And yet they try and tell us that it doesn't work. They try and tell us that the sky hasn't fallen in. They tried to tell us that they were going to name and shame bad employers, and they haven't named and shamed one. And do you know what we've done, Mr Chair? Do you know what we've done? Just to show you that we've actually doubled. We have doubled the penalties for employers, so that if there are bad employers, they will be pinged. We have doubled the penalties for employers. I have been welcoming any feedback, actually, for the past nearly 18 months, the Honourable Marion Street. But actually, nobody has given me some proof. And actually now, Mr Chair, when we are now extending the 90-day trial period for all businesses, which, by the way, is bringing us more in line with international jurisdictions, that is the very time that I would have expected some feedback to say, Minister, actually, this new law doesn't work. But nobody has said, Minister, this new law doesn't work. In the last 18 months, nobody has said it doesn't work. They just say that the sky's going to fall in. Well, Mr Chair, the sky hasn't fallen in. And I say, and Mr Chair, do you know their latest bugbear? Their latest bugbear is about sickies. Their latest bugbear is in case somebody's sick on a Friday or a Monday regularly with a hangover, we might expect them to have to prove that they're sick at the cost of the employer. And they think the sky's going to fall in because of that. They want to encourage sickies on a Friday and Monday. They might like to think that they're all pro-productivity, but sickies on Mondays and Fridays, it's the end of the world again.
Carol Beaumont.